Hello everyone. So this is from one of my lectures online tutorial on R. So I am going to tell you about how to build various classification models using R, like decision tree, KNN, and naive Bayes. This is a hands-on R tutorial where I have used the credit risk file to predict the loan status, a target variable.
R Studio.
Let's
I
get
hope
started.
some of you have opened your R Studio, so you can start practicing as I write. I have written a code over here for different type of classifiers we have studied. So before starting, let me take you to my source file, which is your the file that we are going to talk about, the credit risk file. So if you have seen this file, the credit risk file, am I audible everyone? Can somebody answer that? Please, yeah, okay, great. And can you see the credit risk file also? This file is visible. Great. So this is a credit risk file where you will find various attributes like loan ID, then gender. So gender means that you are having a male or a female gender, married, dependents, education, self-employed, co-applicant income, loan amount term, credit history, and the property area, and finally the loan status. So if I see the original file, so let me show you the original file, how it looked like. So this is my original file. Okay, if you see this file now, you can see that here initially the gender is a factor which is male and female. Okay, then you have married as no and yes, and dependents is a number, and education is graduate and not graduate, then whether the person is self-employed or not, what is his income in dollar, and if there is a co-applicant for the loan application, what is the co-applicant's income, then the loan amount for the function has the person has applied for, and for the term in months. So 360 means 360 means in the number of months that he has applied. So 360 by 12 would become your 30 years. So and credit history, whether he has a credit history, good credit history or not. So 0 means that we don't know anything about his credit history, and 1 means we know something about the credit history. Then you have the property area, which is classified as rural, urban and semi-urban, and then we have the loan status. So loan status means whether the loan was granted to this person or not granted to this person. Credit history means like it's just like in India, whether we have a good CIBIL score or not. So these are the attributes based on which the loan was granted. Okay, now going back to my original problem. So now if we have to make predictions using classification, we have to tell machine something, that how it is going to make the prediction. So can anyone tell me what is this kind of teaching, or how am I going to train this machine? What is this called? Can anybody tell me? You can unmute yourself and respond. Anyone? No? Okay, so have you heard about supervised learning or supervised training? Anyone? Yeah, okay. Can you tell me, Himani, what is supervised learning? Okay, great. So, supervised learning means I have some historical data with me. मेरे पास एक given data set है, उसमें बहुत सारे attributes या features हैं या dimensions हैं या columns हैं, और उसके basis पे हमने उस data को classify या categorize करा है. तो अब मेरे पास ये हिस्टोरिकल इन्फॉर्मेशन है कि अगर ये कॉम्बिनेशन ऑफ एट्रीब्यूट्स हुआ तो मैं इस पर्टिकुलर डेटा को या इस पर्टिकुलर रो को किस कैटेगरी में क्लासिफाई करने वाली हूँ. तो दैट हैज़ ऑलरेडी बीन गिवन टू मी. फॉर एग्जांपल, जो आपकी अभी क्रेडिट रिस्क की आपने फ़ाइल देखी, तो उसमें आपको ऑलरेडी दिया हुआ है कि अगर मेरे पास इस केस में जेंडर ये है, उसका लोन अमाउंट ये था, को एप्लीकेंट इनकम ये थी, एप्लीकेंट इनकम ये थी, तो उसको क्या लोन ग्रांट हुआ या नहीं हुआ. तो बैंक ने एक डिसीजन लिया कि क्या इस पर्सन को लोन ग्रांट करना है कि नहीं करना. सो यू हैव ऑल दैट इन्फॉर्मेशन. नाउ यूजिंग दिस इन्फॉर्मेशन यू आर गोइंग टू क्रिएट अ मॉडल. यू आर गोइंग टू ट्रेन योर मशीन. क्योंकि तुम्हारे पास ऑलरेडी कोई इन्फॉर्मेशन है, उसको यूज़ करके तुम अब अपनी मशीन को ट्रेन करने वाले हो, तो इसलिए हम उसको सुपरवाइज लर्निंग कहते हैं. लर्निंग मतलब मशीन लर्न कर रही है, एंड सुपरवाइज मीन्स that you are training the machine using some historical data. Is that clear? Okay. I would still need somebody to respond to me. So probably if we can get a feedback, so it would be great. Now I am going to move towards how to make predictions with classification. So given my credit risk file, I have to make prediction. So what should be my first step? Can anybody tell me what should be my first step? Dividing data. Dividing data into what? Okay, so you won't need to identify what you need to do identify क्या करना है, predict क्या करना है, ये identify नहीं करोगे. So the step 1 for everyone, please listen carefully, is defining the problem statement. Okay, so can anybody tell me what this problem statement could be for this particular case, for my credit risk file? Please tell me what could be this problem statement. एक क्रेडिट रिस्क फाइल में आपको प्रॉब्लम, आपका गोल क्या है? सो हमें ये चेक करना है. सो आवर गोल इज़ टू आइडेंटिफाई दैट गिवन अ पर्सन's information whether he should be granted loan or not. So that is your goal. So you have to build a model so such using this information to identify that if a new person approaches the bank or the financial institution, whether this person should be granted the loan or not, right? So can anybody tell me what is my target variable here? What is the target variable here? क्या प्रिडिक्ट करना है? प्रॉब्लम स्टेटमेंट आपको दी हुई है, तो क्या प्रिडिक्ट करोगे? Great. So आपके पास आपको प्रॉब्लम स्टेटमेंट क्या दी थी कि आपके पास एक मॉडल है, आपको ये इन्फॉर्मेशन ऑलरेडी दी हुई है, अब कोई नया पर्सन आ रहा है तो उसको लोन ग्रांट करना है नहीं. सो दिस बिकम्स योर टारगेट वेरिएबल और योर टारगेट एट्रीब्यूट. ओके, सो योर टारगेट एट्रीब्यूट इज loan underscore status. Now I have to do the next step. I have identified that this is a problem that I am going to solve. Now what should be the next step? डेटा माइनिंग में आपका अब स्टेप क्या होगा? अब आप डेटा माइन करना शुरू करने वाले हो. अब क्या करो? ओके, एनीवन एल्स? So one person is saying choosing the model and other one is saying फीचर सिलेक्शन. फीचर सिलेक्शन बोल रहे हो, डायमेंशन आइडेंटिफाई करने को बोल रहे हो, राइट? ओके, एनीवन एल्स? एनीवन? ओके, नो प्रॉब्लम. सो अगर आप ये डेटा देखो तो आपको यहाँ पे कुछ वैल्यूज़ दिख रही हैं. अब अगर मेरे डेटा में अगर ऐसी वैल्यूज़ हैं तो क्या मैं मॉडल ठीक तरीके से बना पाऊँगी? नाउ कैन एनीबडी टेल मी व्हाट शुड बी द नेक्स्ट स्टेप? वेरी गुड. सो नाउ नेक्स्ट स्टेप इज़ टू do a data pre-processing or data cleaning. I think somebody wanted to join, so okay, Kishan is here. So I have to do my data cleaning or data preparation. And what does that include? What are the steps for data cleaning or data preparations? क्या क्या करते हो डेटा क्लीन करते टाइम? ओके, रिमूव नल्स, एनीज एंड ब्लैंक्स. ओके, और कुछ करते हो? स्टैंडर्डाइज करते हो. स्टैंडर्डाइज क्यों करोगे? ओके, जैसे फॉर दोज हु डोंट नो अबाउट स्टैंडर्डाइजेशन, जस्ट सी द एप्लीकेंट इनकम. Applicant income is in dollars, 3846, 2390, 3988, all these things. Co-applicant income is also in dollars, generally thousands of dollars. Now see the loan amount. So there is a scaling, there is a factor with which these things differ. Now see the loan amount turn. ये मंथ्स में है, 360 मंथ्स, या 3 years भी दे सकते थे, 2 years भी दे सकते थे. एंड नाउ यू कैन सी द क्रेडिट हिस्ट्री विच इज़ 0 और 1. और तो अब आपका जो डेटा है ना अलग अलग स्केल्स पे है. तो जब आप एल्गोरिथम रन कर रहे हो तो अलग अलग स्केल्स पे है, तो आपका मॉडल हो सकता है कि इस डेटा को ठीक तरीके से ट्रीट ना कर पाए. तो इसलिए आपको अपनी डेटा को सही स्केल पे लाना पड़ेगा. तो आपको डेटा को नॉर्मलाइज या स्टैंडर्डाइज करना पड़ेगा. सो दैट इज़ माई स्टेप 3. नाउ I have identified my problem statement. I have identified my target variable. I have identified that the next step is to do data pre-processing. Now what should I do? अब क्या करना है? ये मान लो कि हमने ये सब कर लिया है. ओके, अब पक्का मॉडल चूज़ करना है. Okay, so you want to choose the model, but you don't you want to identify what are the features that you need in this model? Okay, so you can do a feature selection here, or once you are identified the model, then you will do a feature selection. क्योंकि हर मॉडल को अलग अलग तरीके के एट्रीब्यूट्स चाहिए होते हैं। अगर आपने सारे मॉडल्स पढ़े हैं नाइब बायस को कि कुछ और रिक्वायरमेंट्स होती है और KNN की कुछ अलग रिक्वायरमेंट होती है। सो फीचर सिलेक्शन हियर और while choosing the model. Okay, so yeah, this is somewhere in between. It can be counted as a data pre-processing step or something where you are deciding on the model. So we are going to do feature selection and we will talk about what my model should be. So let's assume we have chosen the model. Now what you will do? You have chosen the model. Let's assume I have chosen the model to be my KNN. Now what you will do? What is the next step? Okay, so we will choose, basically we have it independent variables you will find out, and you have already identified your dependent variable. डिपेंडेंट वेरिएबल आपने ऑलरेडी बोल दिया कि आपका लोन स्टेटस है, ठीक है, ये आपका लोन स्टेटस है। अब इंडिपेंडेंट वेरिएबल्स ये सारे हो सकते हैं, ये सारे आपके इंडिपेंडेंट वेरिएबल्स हो सकते हैं, इन सब का कॉम्बिनेशन हो सकता है कि आप सिर्फ ये तीन आइडेंटिफाई करो अपनी प्रॉब्लम स्टेटमेंट के हिसाब से। फॉर एग्जांपल बैंक बोलना चाह रहा है कि जिनके पास को एप्लीकेंट है हम सिर्फ उसको लोन देंगे, तो आपके लिए सिर्फ हो सकता है ये दो चीज़ें ही इम्पॉर्टेंट हो जाएं। सो डिपेंडिंग ऑन योर गोल, योर एंड गोल की प्रॉब्लम स्टेटमेंट क्या है, आपको ये डिसाइड करना पड़ेगा कि आपके इंडिपेंडेंट वेरिएबल्स कौन से आएंगे। तो क्या ये सारे के सारे कॉलम्स आपके इंडिपेंडेंट वेरिएबल्स बनेंगे या इनका कुछ कॉम्बिनेशन, मतलब मे बी आई वुड वांट टू, for me gender is not important for my particular financial institution. Let's assume that gender is not important, whether the person is self employed or not, that is also not important, but his credit history is important, the loan amount is important, and all other things are important. So independent variables में, which let me call it a set X and let me call my set of the dependent variable as Y. In this case your Y is your loan status. So here for this particular problem my Y is loan status. This I have to predict based on these independent variables. So now I have identified, and using this I am going to train my model. Okay, now you are going to train your model given this data, given the independent variables that you have chosen this in your feature selection, and given that okay, this for this set of independent variables, this is how my loan status is going to look like. So this is how my dependent variable is going to look like. Then I am going to train my model. अब मैंने ये बोला मेरे पास ये हिस्टोरिकल डेटा है, और जब एप्लीकेंट इनकम कुछ ऐसी थी, को एप्लीकेंट इनकम ऐसी थी और लोन अमाउंट ऐसा था, तो उसको लोन ग्रांट नहीं हुआ। सिमिलरली ऐसी बहुत सारी कंडीशंस हुई, तो जिससे मेरे को ये पता चल गया कि किस सिचुएशन में लोन ग्रांट हुआ, किस सिचुएशन में लोन ग्रांट नहीं हुआ, what combination of attributes or independent variables was this loan granted or not granted. So you have trained your model. Now the next step, what is the next step? Okay, so that means we have missed the step. Okay, great. So let me just correct this. So I have identified my variables and dependent variables, and I have sampled my data. Okay, sampling करी। sampling में क्या करते थे, मैंने इस अपने डेटा को train set and test set में divide कर दिया। So how do you divide your data between training set and test set? So you can do it randomly, you can use the cross validation method, you can use the holdout method, then there was a bootstrap method. So there are a lot of techniques to divide your data into training as well as your test set. तो what is so अगर मेरे पास 1000 records हैं, so what ideally should be the ratio of training and test? Should it be equal? Should something be more, something be less? What would be your criteria? ग्रेट. सो ईशान ने जैसे बोला, ट्रेनिंग सेट ऐसा होना चाहिए, इतना बड़ा होना चाहिए कि मैं मॉडल को प्रॉपरली ट्रेन कर पाऊँ, और जो मेरा टेस्ट सेट होना चाहिए वो भी इतना बड़ा तो होना चाहिए कि मैं हर पॉसिबल सिचुएशन को टेस्ट कर पाऊँ. तो जनरली अगेन देन दिस डिपेंड्स ऑन योर प्रॉब्लम स्टेटमेंट, दिस डिपेंड्स ऑन द नंबर ऑफ रिकॉर्ड्स इन द डेटा सेट. सो Kabrika, we take a ratio of 60/40, we can take a ratio of 75/25, we can take a ratio of 80/20, and then probably while sampling you can choose it randomly, or you can try to move certain train records to test records as well. You will try to do different runs. So up 60/40 would be a good train and test set. Suppose you have 1 million record, then you have enough data for training and you have good enough data for testing also. तो बट अगर आपके पास सिर्फ 100 रिकॉर्ड्स हैं तो शायद ये रेशो ठीक ना हो. सो यू विल हैव टू थिंक अबाउट इट, and you will have to see the information, the historical information you already have, and then depending on the situation you will have to decide. The another method is that you can try different ratios for test set and train set, and then run the model differently. Now comes the step 6, which we have mentioned incorrectly in step 5. Now you will have to train your model. Okay, so I have trained my model. Let's assume that we have taken a decision tree and I've trained it. Now what happens? अब क्या करोगे? Great. So now you will predict. Predict using the test set and test. Once you have predicted and tested, then what you will do? Very good. So you will create a confusion matrix and check for accuracy. So now you have confusion matrix and check for accuracy. अब इसके बाद कुछ और करोगे? Have I missed out on something? Very nice, very good. So we should not stop at one model. We should try to build different models and repeat these steps, and then compare the accuracy of each model and choose the one which has the best accuracy. Okay. अब मुझे ये बात बताओ कि अब मैंने ये करा चीज़ क्लासिफिकेशन में, अगर सेम चीज़ क्लस्टरिंग में करनी हो तो कर सकती हूँ? Can I do all these steps while clustering? Okay, so first tell me कि clustering में do I predict, do I do a prediction? Exactly. Great. So why, so that you have to be careful. While clustering, you will do this. You are going to pre-process and clean your data, and you will need to identify features, and you will have to select the model, but there is no dependent variable there. We are not going to predict anything while clustering. Clustering में we are going to just segment or move different data into different parts or different clusters. So there is no concept of sampling and dividing the data into training and test set, but yes, you can create different clusters and measure how the elements within a cluster are closely related to each other. So that is the difference between classification and clustering. Here I am talking about supervised learning in classification. Given a training set, वो हिस्टोरिकल डेटा है, उसको यूज़ करके आप मॉडल को ट्रेन कर रहे हो, तो इसलिए वो सुपरवाइज्ड है. क्लस्टरिंग में आपके पास जो डेटा है, उस डेटा को लेकर के हमें पता नहीं है कि हमारा एंड गोल क्या है. ये आपको नहीं पता है कि आपका कोई टारगेट वेरिएबल कुछ नहीं है, आपका कोई टारगेट वेरिएबल है ही नहीं, तो इसलिए वो अनसुपरवाइज्ड है. वन थिंग. देन यू डोंट नीड अ मॉडल टू ट्रेन. Here the model will be such that all the data elements will now start organizing themselves into clusters based on what that model is asking them to do. So that is the core difference between classification and clustering that you have to remember. Firstly, classification is supervised, clustering is unsupervised. Classification needs an historical data to train it, and there is no such training in your clustering. There is a target variable in your classification, there is no target variable for prediction in clustering. Then after identifying the target variable, you will be predicting and testing on some test data, but in clustering, the given data set will organize itself based on what model is asking them it to organize itself into various clusters. Okay, so now if you will remember these steps, then we can start coding. So I am going to start with my step 1, that is to firstly read my file. Okay, तो अगर मैं R में रीड करूँ मेरी फाइल, सो मेरी फाइल आई हैव स्टोर्ड इन सम place, and I am just simply going to copy it from my code here. So if you see that this is, I am reading the file from the path, and we are saying that the headers are included, so you will have to see what is there in your data. Then I am using this particular parameter also. So in some cases this parameter may not be required. So what am I doing here? Can anybody tell me? राइट. सो कई बार क्या होता है, आपके डेटा में NA लिखा होता है. फॉर एग्जाम्पल हियर some places NA is there, but in many places there is only blanks field, मतलब वहाँ पे NA भी नहीं लिखा है. So you don't know what to do about it. So we are assuming that something that can be treated as an NA, that I am going to convert it to an NA string and read it. So यहाँ पे ही मेरी प्री प्रोसेसिंग स्टार्ट हो गई है. while reading the file only I have identified all my NA strings. Okay, so this is my step 1, to read the file and define my problem statement. So my problem statement is to train a model to predict the loan status, whether the loan should be granted to a particular person or not. Now after reading the file, I am going to do a pre-processing और डेटा क्लीनिंग मैं करूँगी. तो अब सबसे पहले मैं ये देख लेती हूँ मेरी फ़ाइल ठीक से रीड हुई है कि नहीं. तो आप हेड CR फंक्शन यूज़ करो. हेड CR में आप ये नोटिस करो कि मेरी फ़ाइल रीड हो गई है. ठीक है. आप दूसरे तरीके से, एक और तरीके से आप यूज़ कर सकते हो. तो CR वेरिएबल इज़ अ डेटा फ्रेम दैट इज़ होल्डिंग माई information in the file. Okay, why is this an error? Where does glimpse come? I think this we will need. Okay, so there the glimpse function can also give you a glimpse of the data like head CR. So it is going to tell you what kind of these attributes are. For example, loan ID is a factor of some numerical values that are unique. So there are 981 rows and there are 13 columns, where these are the columns and these are the rows. Gender is again a factor which is male and female. Married is a factor. Dependence is an integer 0, 1, 2. Education is a factor. Self-employed is a factor. Then applicant income is an integer. Co-applicant income is a double. Loan amount term, his credit history, property area, loan status, etc. So I have this file. Now I have to do a pre-processing. So सबसे पहले तो मुझे चेक करना है कि मेरी फाइल में नल्स हैं कि नहीं. So how am I going to check? Using which command? Okay, we have is.na and what else? Okay, so we will try both. So we have a call sums command which is going to give me the sum of the columns where there are NA. So for each column, if there is an NA, it is going to give me the sum. So loan ID doesn't have any null. Gender has 24 nulls. Married has 3 nulls. Dependents has 25 nulls. Self-employed has 55. Loan amount has 27. Loan amount term 20. Credit history is 79. So complete cases dot cases. Okay, so it is giving me all the cases that are complete. So true means whether this case was complete or not. So we can find that false means that this case was not complete. But to give you a summary of this information, you can always run this command. So now because I know that my data has nulls, I have to replace them. So tell me, how are you going to replace nulls in gender? Gender is a factor, male and female. Okay, so Himani is saying that I can find a ratio and then try to change it. So one way is to find the occurrence of a maximum. फॉर एग्ज़ाम्पल मोड फंक्शन यूज़ कर सकते हो क्योंकि ये फैक्टर है तो इसका मीन नहीं निकाल सकते. न्यूमेरिक वैल्यूज़ नहीं है, ये फैक्टर हैं, ज़ीरोज़ या वन या ट्रू है, फॉल्स है या मेल या फीमेल है. तो आप इसमें नंबर ऑफ़ अक्रेंसेस काउंट कर सकते हो कि मेल्स कितने हैं और फीमेल्स कितने हैं. और उसके बाद आप उसके लिए आप फॉर एग्ज़ाम्पल मैक्सिमम, अगर मैक्सिमम से रिप्लेस करना चाह रहे हो, मान लो कि मेल्स वॉज मैक्सिमम, मोड की वैल्यू मेल मैक्सिमम आए थे तो आप मेल से रिप्लेस कर सकते हो. बट इफ़ यू वांट टू रिप्रेजेंट मोर फीमेल डेटा देन यू कुड चेंज इट टू फीमेल ऑल्सो. देन अगेन इट डिपेंड्स ऑन योर रिक्वायरमेंट. सिमिलरली मैरिड इज़ ऑल्सो अ फैक्टर, तो उसमें आप मोड यूज़ कर सकते हो, मतलब मोस्ट फ्रीक्वेंटली अकरिंग वैल्यू यूज़ कर सकते हो. अच्छा, अब मुझे ये बताओ कि क्रेडिट हिस्ट्री एक न्यूमेरिक वैल्यू है तो क्या करोगे, या लोन अमाउंट है ये एक न्यूमेरिकल वैल्यू है तो क्या करोगे. Right, so you can use a mean or the median, like sorting all the values and find the median value, or you can use the mean. And if there is some other function that your organization or your problem requires कि नहीं मुझे मीन या मीडियन नहीं यूज़ करना, कुछ और यूज़ करना, इफ़ देर इज़ सम अदर फॉर्मूला यू वांट टू रिप्लेस इट विद, देन यू कैन डू दैट ऑल्सो. बट जनरली हम जो नॉर्मल सिनारियोज़ में हम मोड या मीन या मोड फॉर योर कैटेगोरिकल डेटा and mean or median for your numerical data we use. So I have already written a code on mode. There is a function that, because there is no function of mode that is there in R, so you will have to write your own function. So I have already written a mode function in R, so I have called it modes and I have written that, and in that function I have chosen the maximum occurrence of gender, maximum occurrence of anything in that particular column, and I have replaced it. So I would suggest that you write your own mode function or any function that you will need to replace the NA values with. So let me first replace the loan amount which has 27 nulls. So what I am going to do is, I am simply going to, so look at this now. So now what I am doing is कि लोन अमाउंट कॉलम में इस डेटा फ्रेम में अगर इफ एल्स मीन्स इफ द वैल्यू इज नल इज डॉट एन ए, इफ इट इज़ एन ए देन आई एम गोइंग टू रिप्लेस इट विद लोन अमाउंट, एल्स आई एम गोइंग टू रिटेन दैट वैल्यू. तो अगर एन ए है तो रिप्लेस कर दो मीन से, और अगर एन ए नहीं है तो आप जो वैल्यू ऑलरेडी पड़ी है वही रहने दो. ये एन ए डॉट आर एम इक्वल्स टू ट्रू मैंने इसलिए रखा है क्योंकि अगर वो नहीं तो वो मीन कंप्यूट करते टाइम एन ए को भी इंक्लूड कर लेता है एंड सारा मीन एन ए आ जाता है. सो इसलिए मैंने एन ए डॉट आर एम को ट्रू इसलिए रखा है कि सपोज़ कहीं किसी पोजीशन पे एन ए वैल्यू थी तो जब वो पूरे कॉलम का मीन कंप्यूट कर रहा है तो वो एन एज़ को भी इंक्लूड कर रहा है और वो वैल्यू एन ए की तरह ही स्टोर कर रहा है. सो आई हैव रिमूव्ड ऑल द एन एज़ वाइल कंप्यूटिंग द मीन, and if at particular position the value is NA, then I have replaced it with the mean of the entire column. If it already has some value then that value remains, and क्योंकि ये इन प्लेस नहीं होता है तो इसलिए वापस से कॉलम में स्टोर करवाया. अगर आप ये नहीं करोगे, सिर्फ इतना पोर्शन रन करोगे तो आउटपुट देगा बट उस कॉलम में स्टोर नहीं करेगा. सो आई हैव डन दिस फॉर लोन अमाउंट. then I will be doing for loan amount term same चीज़. again loan amount term को मैंने median ले लिया. so instead of taking a mode in mean I have taken a median for this particular thing. so it again depends on your problem कि आपको उस डेटा के लिए mean लेना है कि median लेना है या mode लेना है. mode is generally we do it for your categorical data which has some factors, and if you have numeric data you can take a median or mode. आप क्रेडिट हिस्ट्री के लिए सेम चीज़ करिए कि अगर क्रेडिट हिस्ट्री नोन नहीं है तो ये देखो ये बिजनेस डिसीजन है. इफ़ आई डोंट नो एनीथिंग, एन ए मीन्स आई डोंट नो एनीथिंग अबाउट द क्रेडिट हिस्ट्री. अब बैंक को अगर किसी की क्रेडिट हिस्ट्री नहीं पता है तो इट इज़ मोर लॉजिकल इन दिस केस टू से दैट आई डोंट नो, लेट इट बी ज़ीरो, नॉट टू एज्यूम कि उसकी क्रेडिट हिस्ट्री अच्छी थी. वन मेंट कि ओके वी न्यू अबाउट द क्रेडिट हिस्ट्री और उसकी क्रेडिट हिस्ट्री अच्छी है. बट अगर फाइनेंशियल इंस्टीट्यूशन के पर्सपेक्टिव से देखा जाए तो शायद ज़ीरो लिखना बेटर है कि इफ़ आई डोंट नो एनीथिंग अबाउट इट टू लेट इट बी ज़ीरो बिकॉज दिस पर्सन डजेंट हैव एनी इन्फॉर्मेशन ऑन क्रेडिट हिस्ट्री, लेट मी से दैट ही डजेंट हैव अ गुड क्रेडिट हिस्ट्री. तो आप किस वैल्यू से रिप्लेस कर रहे हो आपको प्रॉब्लम एट हैंड के बेसिस पे डिसीजन लेना पड़ेगा. हो सकता है आप यहाँ 1 लिख देते पर क्योंकि बैंकिंग इंस्टीट्यूशन है और वो ऐसे ही किसी को लोन नहीं ग्रांट करना चाह रहा जिसके बारे में नहीं पता, तो वो हम इस केस में उसको ज़ीरो से रिप्लेस कर रहे हैं. सो यू शुड नो व्हाई यू मेड सच अ डिसीजन. देन कम्स योर सेल्फ एम्प्लॉयड. अगेन सेल्फ एम्प्लॉयड इज़ अ categorical attribute, so I am replacing it with my modes. I am not giving you the mode function, I think you can write it yourself. Then I am doing the same thing for your number of dependents. You could have used a mean over here because it is an integer value. You could have used a mean also over here. Then gender, again I am using modes and I am using modes for married also. and education also. So for all the things I am simply copying this. If you want to see, just take a look, and if somebody is running, I can give you time to write it on your screen. Is this clear? I have tried to remove all the NAs in the fields where there were NAs. Is this clear? Any questions so far? किसी को कोई सवाल है तो पूछो. I am not seeing the chat windows. I am so sorry. Okay, so Kishan has a question. He has put up a question on the chat. अगर किसी को question पूछना है, can you please unmute and ask, because I am generally not seeing the chat window. So Kishan, mode is the frequency, कितनी बार कोई value आई, और mean means the average, the total number, all the data sets total sum together, all the observations का sum divided by total number of items. Okay. And Dikshant is saying technique. Dikshant, was that a question or an answer? Okay, no response. So should I move ahead? Okay, so here I have replaced all the values. Now let me see that is still any value left. So I am just doing a basic sanity on my data. अब आप नोटिस करो, सेल्फ एम्प्लॉयड वाले सारे ज़ीरो हो गए, NAs, क्रेडिट हिस्ट्री ज़ीरो हो गए, जेंडर के में कोई NA नहीं बचा, एप्लीकेंट इनकम में नहीं बचा, प्रॉपर्टी एरिया में नहीं बचा, मैरिड में नहीं बचा, डिपेंडेंट्स में नहीं बचा, लोन अमाउंट में नहीं बचा, लोन अमाउंट टर्म में नहीं बचा. ठीक है. सो दिस यू हैव टू डू, दिस इज़ प्री प्रोसेसिंग. एनी क्वेश्चन? मैंने जो मोड्स फंक्शन लिखा है, मैंने पूरे डेटा को में से फ्रीक्वेंसी कंप्यूट करी है कि मेल की कितनी फ्रीक्वेंसी है, फीमेल की कितनी फ्रीक्वेंसी है. जिसकी फ्रीक्वेंसी ज़्यादा है वो मोड हो गया उसका, और वो मैंने रिटर्न करवा दिया. ठीक है. सो आई हैव दिस. नाउ आई हैव रिमूव्ड ऑल द नल्स. So now the next step was to do what? Anything else? Okay, now I have to do the feature selection. For that you will need library dplyr. I have already included that. So to select the feature, now remember, you do you need this loan ID? Do you need this field for modeling? Do you need this field? And see, this field is different for everything, and it is just an identification number. You will need to map it to find after training the model and predicting the results. Then you might need it to map it to a particular record, but for training this is not needed. You should not be using it. So now I am going to do my feature selection step. So let it be cr1 equals to, I am saying select. So I can use the select function and say okay, from this data frame select. अच्छा, इसमें indexing starts with 1 in R. So this is index 1, this is index 2, 3, 4, 5. अगर मुझे मान लो कि कॉलम्स चूज़ करने थे 2 से 6 तक, तो मैं सिंपली लिख सकती थी 2 to 6. अगर मुझे चाहिए था कॉलम, मान लो मैं फीचर सेलेक्ट कर रही हूँ, तो मुझे चाहिए 6 to 9. मतलब ये कॉलम्स मेरे मॉडल में यूज़ होंगे, एट्रीब्यूट्स ये फीचर्स यूज़ होंगे. सो यू कैन सिंपली स्पेसिफाई द कॉलम्स, और यू कैन गिव द नेम्स. फॉर एग्जांपल सिर्फ जेंडर चाहिए पर मैरिड नहीं चाहिए, डिपेंडेंट्स चाहिए, एजुकेशन नहीं चाहिए, सेल्फ एम्प्लॉयमेंट. सो सिंपली स्पेसिफाई दैट आई नीड जेंडर, आई नीड डिपेंडेंट्स, आई नीड एप्लीकेंट इनकम, आई नीड. सो यू कैन चूज़ any number of columns or all possible columns, whatever is your problem requirement. तो जैसे अभी जो मैं मॉडल बिल्ड कर रही हूँ, तो इस मॉडल में मैं जेंडर से लेकर के प्रॉपर्टी एरिया, लोन स्टेटस नहीं इंक्लूड करूँगी क्योंकि ये मेरा टारगेट वेरिएबल है, और लोन आईडी नहीं करूँगी क्योंकि ये यूनिक है और इसका कोई कंट्रीब्यूशन नहीं है, इट्स जस्ट अ वे टू आइडेंटिफाई. So for my particular model I am using all these fields from gender up till property area I am using. तो हो सकता है as we said that we will create different models, so maybe in another model I could just use applicant income, co-applicant income, credit history and loan amount term. So I could use only these 4 columns. So you will have to try and test different models जिसमें आपने different attributes select करे हैं to check which one gave you the best accuracy. So here I am choosing all. So let me check first, let me check the dimension. So dimension of your CR is what? You have 981 rows and 13 columns. I don't want the first column and I also don't want the last column. So I don't need 1 and 13, but I want to include all 2 to 12. So I am going to do I am going to store it in a new variable, which new data frame, which is cr1 equals to select from this data frame and I am specifying the column. तो अब यहाँ पे मैंने सारा चूज़ कर लिया है, आपको जो कॉलम्स चाहिए आप वो चूज़ कर सकते हो. सो दिस and let me do the sanity for this. So now cr1 will have 981 and 12 columns. Okay, loan ID is here, it has included. अच्छा, loan status it has chosen because I have given 2 to 13. Okay. Okay, I have included the 13th column, so it is giving me 12. I have said that while selecting I have chosen from 2 to 13. I have chosen this also, so it is giving me 12 columns. So it has the head CR is this, head CR1 is this, and you can see that there is no loan ID column. I have dropped that for my credit CR1. So for the next data frame when I am training the model, I will remove this also. For here after this I am going to split my data set into dependent variables up till property area, independent variables up till property area and dependent variables. So I am including it over here. And after this, now my next step is to do the sampling, dividing my data into test and train. So in this case I am using CA tools to call the split function. So if it has not already been installed on your R studio or R base, then you need to install the required package and then you can call it, then you can use it. So just be careful, if there is an error you just simply need to install the package. And let me call the split function, data equals to sample, and sample किसको करना है मुझे, सैम्पल x, जहाँ पे x है वहाँ पे जिसको सैम्पल करना है उसका नाम दे दो. तो मैंने CR1 को करना है. मैंने अभी ओरिजिनल डेटा सेट से CR1 पिक कर लिया जिसमें मेरी लोन आईडी नहीं है. सो एंड इन दिस केस आई एम स्पेसिफाइंग हाउ आई एम गोइंग टू स्प्लिट इट. Sample dot split from CR1, and my split ratio is, here I am taking it to be 80% depending on the number, because I don't have even 1000 records, so I needed to train it properly. So I am taking 80%. You could have chosen 75% or 70%, and you can for a different model just try running it on 70% set or 75% set also. In this case I am choosing it to be 80%. You can change it. Okay, so plus there are other things also that you can specify, but for me this information is enough. I am what I have to split and in what percentage I have to split. So I have split it, and then I have formed a training set, let me call it train set, and I have to create a subset from my data where, अब ये क्या कर रहा है सैम्पल फंक्शन, ये क्या इसमें ना सैम्पल फंक्शन इसको रैंडमली डिवाइड कर रहा है अलग अलग पार्ट्स में, जिसके आगे ट्रू लिखेगा वो पोर्शन आप ट्रेनिंग में डाल सकते हो, और जिसके आगे तो बेसिकली क्या करेगा ये एंड में एक कॉलम अपेंड कर देगा. ईशान, एनी क्वेश्चन? Okay, so it is going to append a column at the end and it is going to put a true or false. So I am taking the training set to be something which has the records which are labeled as true, and test set for the records which are labeled as false. So ये sample.split ने हर रिकॉर्ड को ट्रू या फॉल्स के नाम से डाल दिया, और 80% रिकॉर्ड्स के नाम के आगे उसने ट्रू लेबल लगाया होगा. तो मैंने बोला है कि ट्रेन सेट वो बनेगा जिसमें रिकॉर्ड्स के आगे ट्रू है, और टेस्ट सेट बनेगा वो सबसेट ऑफ CR1 डेटा फ्रेम जिसके आगे फॉल्स है. अब ये इक्वल्स टू नहीं कर देना, दिस इज़ अ कंपैरिजन. ओके, सो अगर मैं इसकी सैनिटी करूं तो मेरे पास ट्रेन सेट में 735 है. मेरे पास अभी 981 रिकॉर्ड्स है जिसमें से 735 आ गए मेरे ट्रेन सेट में, विच इज़ अप्रॉक्सीमेटली 80%. 981 के 80% निकालोगे तो समवेयर अराउंड दिस. सिमिलरली अगर मैं टेस्ट सेट की डायमेंशंस कंप्यूट करूँ, सो 246 records in this. I have my 12 columns except for loan ID. Now I want to do a decision tree modeling. तो मैंने मॉडल चूज़ किया, choose a model. So अब मैं मॉडल जब चूज़ कर रही हूँ तो उसके लिए मुझे लाइब्रेरी R part recursive partitioning चूज़ करनी है. अगेन you have to ensure that you include this library. If not already installed, then you will have to install it. Now let me call rpart function and उसमें उसको फिट करना, मतलब ट्रेनिंग रिकॉर्ड्स को फिट करना है यूजिंग योर डिसीजन ट्री. डिसीजन ट्री क्या था? कैन somebody tell me what was decision tree? What is your decision tree classification? Can somebody tell me? Okay. Okay. Okay, somebody is commenting on chat. What is he saying? Vaibhav is. Oh, what are these people doing? Okay, so you have your library art part. अब मैं इसको यूज़ कर रही हूँ because I have decided that I am doing my spellings may be wrong. Decision spelling क्या होती है भाई? Okay, I am doing decision tree modeling. Now decision tree modeling, if you remember, was talking about information gain. You could have used entropy or Gini index to compute information gain. अब क्या होता है, मान लो आपके पास एक एट्रीब्यूट है, इसी को देख लेते हैं क्रेडिट रिस्क की फाइल को. तो यहाँ पे जेंडर है, ठीक है. अब जब जेंडर है यहाँ पे तो मेल एंड फीमेल में, लेट्स एज्यूम कि आपके पास जेंडर कॉलम में सारे मेल्स थे. everyone was a male. For all 981 records, everyone was a male. So will it give me any information about the known status? Because everybody is a male, so I don't see it contributing to my loan status. क्यों? क्योंकि everybody is a male, so I don't know कि इस जेंडर की क्या सिग्निफिकेंस है लोन स्टेटस में, कि उसको मेल होने पे ये लोन मिलेगा कि नहीं मिलेगा. क्योंकि सारे मेल्स हैं तो यहाँ येस या नो आ रहा है. इस पर्टिकुलर कॉलम से मुझे कोई इन्फॉर्मेशन नहीं मिल रही है. रिमेंबर उसमें हम वी वुड टॉक अबाउट कैलकुलेटिंग the entropy of a attribute. So entropy means कितनी disturbance है डेटा में. Entropy means how much disturbance is there. But if I have everything as same, everything is male, then there is no disturbance in the data. Because there is no disturbance inside in this data, I do not gain any information from it. So जब यहाँ पे आपका जो p है, then this becomes 1, and the log and for the female thing your 1 minus p will become 0, and when you do sigma p log 1 p log 1 minus p, you will not gain any information out of it. But suppose that there were some 50% of females and 50% of males, then entropy was maximum. Then I could have gained some information कि क्या मेल होने पे यहाँ पे जब 50% मेल्स हैं और 50% फीमेल्स हैं, तो मेल या फीमेल होने पे क्या कोई इम्पैक्ट पड़ता है लोन स्टेटस पे. तो जितनी इन्फॉर्मेशन आपको इस एट्रीब्यूट से मिल सकती है, उसके बेसिस पे डिसीजन ट्री डिसाइड करता है कि क्या आप उसके बेसिस पे कैन यू मेक अ डिसीजन वेदर द टारगेट वेरिएबल इज़ highly dependent on it or not, whether it is going to help me decide my target variable. So decision tree is going to make splits according to entropy. Whatever gives you the maximum entropy, on that basis you are going to make a split. So let me move with my this is clear everyone? No response means clear. Okay. So now when you are calling the function, here I am going to call a function rpart. इसको आप recursive partitioning समझ सकते हो. तो जब आप मॉडल बनाते हो तो जनरली उस मॉडल को जो ट्रेनिंग सेट होता है आपका ट्रेन सेट, उसको फिट करते हो उस मॉडल में. तो आप वेरिएबल का कोई भी नाम दे सकते हो, बट फॉर बेटर अंडरस्टैंडिंग आई गिव इट एज फिट and let me call the rpart function. And when I have called the rpart function, तो आपका जो टारगेट वेरिएबल था, इफ़ यू रिमेंबर इट वाज लोन स्टेटस. तो अब वो यहाँ पे अब आप यहाँ पे देखो ये क्या है, सी. So the rpart has various attributes. So you are saying that it has formula, what data it is going to be there for which you are going to train. Then is there any weights that are associated with it? Are you going to give a subset of it? एंड कैन यू प्लीज़ म्यूट, बहुत शोर आ रहा है. एंड अगर मान लो डेटा में NAs हैं तो क्या एक्शन लेगा, बिकॉज वी ऑलरेडी रिमूव्ड NAs, so we don't want to do that. Then which method you are going to use? Are you going to use classification or whatever methods that you are going to use? Then which model you are going to use, and so there are various things that you are going to use. So formula is very important for which you are going to predict. So in this case formula is equal to loan status variable जिसको आपको predict करना है, but it is represented like this. So the variable, the attribute name that you are going to predict like this, and then this is how it is going to be represented. So you have to use this notation only, which is the formula. This I want to predict and I want to fit my data, which is इन दिस केस ट्रेन सेट, क्योंकि ट्रेनिंग सेट इस मॉडल को ट्रेन कर रहा है. टेस्ट सेट पे मैं सेट करूँगी, ओरिजिनल सेट में यूज़ नहीं कर सकती. तो मैं ये बोल रही हूँ मेरा जो प्रेजेंट डेटा है वो ट्रेन सेट है, जिसको मैंने 80% स्प्लिट निकाल करके निकाला है. तो दैट इज़ माई ट्रेन सेट. दिस इज़ माई फॉर्मूला दैट आई एम गोइंग टू वर्क अपॉन, एंड मेथड इज इक्वल टू क्लास. अदर वेरिएबल्स, वेट्स एट्सेट्रा, इफ़ यू नीड देम यू कैन यूज़ देम. ओके. So this is my fit. Now let me see what fit has done for me. Let me print fit. So if you see, it is saying on this probability my root I had 735 nodes, 735 data items, and I have split them, and this is the probability of my set. So now this is doing on the basis of P. Now he is saying my first thing was credit history. सो क्रेडिट हिस्ट्री को उस टाइम पे टॉप मोस्ट पे स्प्लिट पे सबसे इम्पॉर्टेंट उसको क्रेडिट हिस्ट्री लिखा. तो लेस देन 0.5 के लिए उसने कितने रिकॉर्ड्स लिए और ग्रेटर देन 0.5 के लिए कितने रिकॉर्ड्स लिए, और येस और नो की जो क्लासिफिकेशन है और उनके पीज हैं वो उसने बताए. आफ्टर देन इट वेंट टू द नेक्स्ट लेवल विच इज़ एप्लीकेंट इनकम. एंड एप्लीकेंट इनकम अगर सी यहाँ पे आप ये देखो कि यहाँ पे जो ये रिकॉर्ड्स हैं, अगर आप क्रेडिट हिस्ट्री की बात करो, अगर ये ट्री बन रहा है, रूट पे 735 थे, फिर वाई क्रेडिट हिस्ट्री जब वाई थी तो ये हुआ जब 0.5 से लेस था, और एन पे ये हुआ. फिर एप्लीकेंट इनकम पे इसने स्प्लिट्स मारा जब उसने 1987 की वैल्यू ली, एंड उसके बाद अगर एप्लीकेंट इनकम लेस देन 1987 थी तो ये हुआ, ग्रेटर देन इक्वल टू 1987 थी ये हुआ. ये नोट्स आए. उसके बाद लोन अमाउंट आया, उस पर लोन अमाउंट पे स्प्लिट किया. एप्लीकेंट इनकम पे वाई इज इट डूइंग एप्लीकेंट इनकम अगेन. ओके, एप्लीकेंट इनकम पे लोन अमाउंट इज द नेक्स्ट नोड, एंड टू द राइट साइड एप्लीकेंट इनकम पे लोन अमाउंट. ये basically what it is doing, let me plot this, let me first give you a plot of this, then you will be able to better understand. Oh, it's not labeling. Okay. Fit and length equals to equals to नहीं, I have to label it also ना. It's not telling me how to label it. Anyone who is commenting can unmute and tell me if there is something that you can share or you want to talk about. I will have to check for the annotated plot, but ये कौन, anybody who wants, okay, Anmol wants to get it. Okay, so yeah, let me just give you a decision tree also. So I have to see how to annotate it, but you can try this at home. So it's just saying that first thing it is going to break on credit history left and right, then applicant income left and right. For applicant income, then he is going to break on loan amount. So what is going to happen on loan amount left and loan amount right, and then he is going to break it on co-applicant income. So co-applicant income left and right. So this is the entire tree which starts at credit history left, right, which is your less than 0.5 and yes, greater than 0.5. Yes, rpart dot plot and fit. Okay, which library is that? I think I tried to install it, but it could not be installed. But let me try. Okay, wow, that's it. Thank you so much, Ishan. So if you see this, is this visible? It's not even visible for me. That that's okay, still we will figure it out. Okay, so let me just close this. Yeah, so see here you have credit history, and credit history pay you have made a decision for less than 0.5 and greater than 0.5. So yes and no. So when this decision is true, then it is going to break on applicant income. After breaking on applicant income, to the left side you are going here, which is this is this just one I think I am getting here, and for the right side you are getting here for this greater than 1987 you are getting here. Then you are breaking on loan amount. Then after breaking on loan amount, again you are getting splitting on applicant income and another applicant income here. And after that you are, for the no part, you are again splitting on loan amount here, then loan amount here, and for once this tree is completed, on the right side you are splitting on co-applicant income. And for the credit history, the last part, this is the note. So this is the decision tree that you have mapped. Now this was for my data set which included attributes 2 to 11, which included all these attributes from gender to property area, except for the loan status, because in the loan status I used it as the function. So where is my function? Yeah, so my function was this. Here this is my formula. So loan status was used as the formula, and the rest of it was the attributes were used as the training set. So here you are getting in the probabilities, but what if I want to do it on information? So we can pass the split method as information. Okay, so what I am doing is method equals to class, and that it is based on information. So let me give you the print the fit for you. It's not giving. Yeah, this is the same thing. I think there are various ways of talking about how you can specify various so split will tell you whether you want it on your information gain or your Gini index gain. This split will tell you whether this is your information gain or Gini gain. Who is okay. So here you can specify the parameters list which are where the split is based on, and then you can plot this again. I think this is the same R part dot plot and fit. I think we have the same graph over here. So this was my decision tree, and now can you tell me what should we do next? I have done the decision tree. Now what was the next step? Okay, so what will we do? Okay, so what is the method? What's the name of the method? predicted equal to predict, and what we are going to pass, the model which we have fitted, and my test data, not the training data. And you have to classify, so I am telling you the type to be classification. And if you want to print predicted, it will give you an array of how you have. So these were the rows which were given to the test set, row number 7, 8, 9, 19, all these were given to your test set. And based on the fitted model of decision tree, 7th was predicted that the loan status would be yes. For 8th, the loan status was predicted to be no. So based on fit model, my tests, they have predicted what each row in test set would look like, whether the row number would get the loan or it will not get the loan. Now I already have the original data from which we got this test set. So now let's compare it. So how will you compute the accuracy? How will you find the accuracy? You have the model that you have fitted. Now you have predicted for the test set. These values for loan status have been predicted in your test set. Now you want to find out whether these values predicted were correct or not. So what you will do? What will you do? Okay, so you will create a confusion matrix. How will you do that? Okay, so matrix equals to, let me call the table function. In the table function, I am going to find out. So now my original set, test set, see here. So this was my test set, which was the subset of my original data. It had the loan status. So इस टेस्ट सेट में ओरिजिनली जो लोन स्टेटस दिया हुआ था वो पास कर दिया, और अब प्रिडिक्टेड में जो लोन स्टेटस इसी टेस्ट सेट के लिए प्रिडिक्ट हुआ है, जो मेरे मॉडल ने प्रिडिक्ट किया वो भी पास कर दिया. मतलब ओरिजिनल और ये प्रिडिक्टेड, उसकी मैंने टेबल प्लॉट कर दी. अगर ये मैच हो जाएंगे देन इट इज़ फाइन, जहाँ मैच नहीं होंगे वो मुझे कंप्यूट करके बता देगा. सो आई हैव दिस टेबल एंड लेट मी प्रिंट दिस मैट्रिक्स. सो इट इज़ saying that in my original data 36 rows were said that they should be not granted the loan, and they have been predicted to be not granting the loan. So these are my true negatives. Then it said that there were 35 rows whose value should have been no, but it was predicted to be yes. So there is an error for these 35 people. Then it also told me that originally 160 people were granted loan and the model has predicted correctly for 160 people. But my in this set 15 people were there which were granted the loan, but my model said that they will not be granted the loan. So my problem error rate was that 35 were predicted to be given the loan, but they should not have been given the loan. So this is a problem. See, for the blanking statement, it is okay that if some people are not granted the loan, okay, क्योंकि अगर it's better to fall in trap and lose your money rather than lose some customers, you will get many. So ये ठीक है, जिसको नहीं देना था उसने predict कर दिया. This is also fine, जिसको देना था उसने सही predict कर दिया. This is also somewhat okay, otherwise we could improve this, but this 35 is not okay. That means you are saying that this person should be granted the loan, but actually he did not deserve to get that. So this model is saying that these are my correct values and these are my false values. So how will you determine the accuracy now? Can you tell me how to determine the accuracy? ग्रेट. सो एक्यूरेसी मीन्स आपके जो डायगोनल पे वैल्यू है ये सही है, मतलब ये नो था और नो ही प्रिडिक्ट हुआ, ये येस था और येस ही प्रिडिक्ट हुआ. तो एक्यूरेसी है कि कितनी करेक्ट आई टोटल प्रिडिक्शंस में से. तो आपने कुछ नहीं करना, सम करना है एंड डायगोनल फंक्शन ऑन माय टेबल डिवाइडेड बाय sum of all entries in the table, and let me print this accuracy. So the accuracy for my this model is 79%. Okay, which I think is cool enough. We can improve, yes, we can always try to improve. So maybe we could drop some attributes, or maybe we could add some more test data to see what it is doing, and dropping some attributes, or probably randomizing more the sequence. What else you can do to improve this? Probably trying to see if apart from information whether Gini index will work. So you can try to create different models and see if you can improve the accuracy, but as of now this is 79.67%. Okay, so this is clear. What you have to do is, what you have done is, you have identified your problem statement, you have said that I want to predict the loan status, then you have cleaned your data. After cleaning your data, you have chosen the required features that were to be predicted. In this case I only dropped my loan ID, other things I chose. You could have dropped some other features which you could have you thought were not important. So by dropping those features you are creating an entirely different model. Then after that you did sampling, dividing the data into test and train set, and then you are going to choose the model. In this case we chose the decision tree. After choosing it, you trained your model, and after training your model you have predicted the value and then compared the accuracy. Okay, so this was your decision tree. Any questions so far in that? I can take a few questions and then I can move to KNN. Once you have understood this, then KNN and naive Bayes is going to take only 10 minutes, because you are just changing the model. The steps, if you understand all the steps, only the function call is going to change. Any questions? No? Okay, great. So now let me move to KNN. Can anybody tell me what is KNN? Apart from Himani and Ishan, there are so many people in the class, right? I have a good attendance. So can anybody tell me what is KNN? No? Nobody is interested in studying. Okay. Himani and Ishan, can you please tell me what is KNN? Okay, so KNN means suppose I have these data items. Okay, now I have these data items. Now I want to predict a class for this LP002201, let's assume. So I am going to compute the distances between the other data items. Distances means how similar or how far apart they are from each other. Typically distance between these two fields, or married, dependent. So everything we are going to take the distance. Generally we take the Euclidean distance, and again it depends on the problem whether you want to take a Euclidean, Manhattan, Minkowski, or any other Jaccard coefficients. So you are going to take the distance, and you are going to give a hyper parameter k. hyper parameter मतलब ट्रेनिंग सेट में नहीं है, मॉडल को आपको खुद बताना है. एज अ यूज़र, एज अ प्रोग्रामर, यू हैव टू टेल द मॉडल हाउ मैनी नियरेस्ट पीपल टू चूज़. सो अगर जैसे व्हेन आई गो आउटसाइड एंड आई ट्राई टू मेक फ्रेंड्स, आई ट्राई टू आइडेंटिफाई देयर हॉबीज़, I try to identify their interests, I try to identify what they like studying. So this is a similarity I am trying to find, and somebody whom I find similar, I become friends with. So similarly, this is what k nearest is all about. This person is going to, so in the model is going to find some people who are similar to it. If it finds similar people, then it is going to assign the lone status of the maximum number of people. So if I say that my k nearest neighbor, I choose k as 5. So there I have 5 of my friends with whom I am similar with. Now we want to go for a movie, and 3 of them say vote for one movie, and 2 of them vote for another movie. So we go with the maximum. So I will be going with the people who have voted maximum for a particular movie. So that's what KNN is all about. For this particular one instance, try to find distances and try to find distances of k neighbors, nearest k neighbors, the instances which are most similar. So let's assume I have k equals to 5. Now these k members, each of them will have a particular class. There will be some factor, it could be class 1, it will be class 2, class 3, whatever classes are there, and then we expect them to vote. So so if I have 5 members and there are 2 classes and 3 of them vote for class 1, that is 3 of them have class 1, then I will assign the lone status as 1, else I will assign the lone status as 0. Okay. Now what is the problem in this kind of data that you will face while doing KNN? Tell me. Is there any problem that you see before implementing KNN? Yes, yes, you are right. Yeah. See, you see applicant income is this, co-applicant income is this, loan amount is this, and now gender is only 1 and 2 or 0 or 1, married is only 0 and 1. So firstly, computing the distances of categorical attribute is difficult, and again the data is not standardized. So this is 1 and 2 and this is 5 and 2, 4, so we will be facing problems. So there are 2 approaches, either you drop all the categorical attributes and only retain the attributes which are numerical in nature, or you standardize the entire data. Even if you drop all the categorical attributes, you will still need to standardize, because even these things are also on a different scale. So for this particular problem, I am not going to drop any of the attributes, but I am going to standardize. Okay. So let me see what I have done here. So this is my code, and I am taking a library caret, for which I will be using a sample function. So I am importing this library, and dplyr is I already took. Let me choose the column. So this is my feature selection. Then I am doing a random sampling. So just pay attention to this line. Okay. So what it does is, it is saying that I have original data which I have stored in CR2. I have only excluded my loan ID column. Now from this data, I have shuffled my entire data using my sample function, and I have chosen a random index. So if I want to print random, if you see this, if I have printed my random, okay, this is my random. So if you see that all the rows have been shuffled, all the rows have been shuffled and we have chosen a random mixture. So now 979 row became the first one, 965 so I have chosen a random way to shuffle all my rows, and then I have a random index, and based on that random index I am going to split my data into test set and train set. So after shuffling all the rows, now I am trying to pre-process my data. So for pre-processing I am using the data, and for all the columns except for my loan status, see that was my target variable. So loan status को आप छेड़ोगे नहीं, आप सिर्फ 2 to 12 बाकी सारे columns को छेड़ोगे. And as I said, from gender till property area I have taken all the attributes, but you might want to take a different set of attributes and that becomes a different model altogether. So you are using KNN with different attributes. I am choosing all, you can choose some less also, but yes, you are not going to standardize and scale your loan status. So method is center and scale, and then you are going to map the values using this center and scale function, using this, and just see how your processed data looks like. So if you can see, the gender values have been normalized, married values have been normalized, dependent have been normalized. It's okay if they are negative because they are relative to other inputs also. So everything has been scaled and normalized. So I have done my prediction. Any questions? Yes, you can use the scale function also, that is okay. So this is just one of the ways. You can write your own function, suppose if you do not agree with this center and scaling, and you can use the scale function also. But yeah. So now I have my data which was randomized, all the rows were randomized, and then I pre-processed my data and stored into a different frame. Now to divide my train set, what I am doing is, from my standardized normalized data, I am choosing rows that have been labeled as random and all the columns, okay, and in the test set which are not random, okay. So the rest of them goes to, the ones that are not random and this. So if you see, random had some these rows, and train set had all the rows which were in the set random, and test set has all the rows which were not in random. And what is my target variable again? What is the target variable? What is the target? Yes, right. So from my original record I set it as a target. So I have this, let me call it target for KNN, which was my last column, the 13th column. So for this random set, this is my target. So all the rows in the set, this is my target, and for the test set, exclude the other rows are my other rows with the loan status as the column is my target. Okay. Yes. Right. Okay, so see, when you do pre-processing, this no longer remains a data frame. If I print is as CR3, just see what CR3 looks like. So you don't know, so the data has been centered, ignored and scaled. Now you want to find, so you want predict means based on this pre-processing, he is going to predict and find the values that has now freshly been scaled and then put it back into the data frame. Okay, so I have set my train set, I have set my target, I have my targets. So now what is the value of k that you are going to choose? What is the value of k that you are going to choose? What should be my k in k nearest? Have you given any thoughts? Yes. Hmm. Hmm. ओके, तो स्टार्ट कहाँ से करूँ? Okay, so theoretically people say that to start with you can take the square root of the number of records. So अगर आप देखो तो मेरे ओरिजिनल डेटा में 981 थे, तो स्क्वायर रूट ऑफ 981 इज़ अराउंड 31. ओके, एंड मेरे टेस्ट डेटा में कितने थे? ट्रेन डेटा में 794. So square root of 784 is 28. So somewhere between 26, 27 or 28 I can take my k nearest neighbors. But what if, so these are not even 1000 records we are talking about. So yes, 28 seems to be a fair enough number. But what if we have millions of records? Millions of records, अगर आपके million 1 million में से half of a million is in your train data, then square root is going to be a large number and it's going to be computationally heavy. Then what do you do? Okay, chalo, till then you think about it, but let me train the model. I have already created this, so I have 28 as my square root. So let me use this function. So KNN model for 28 neighbors, I have passed the train set, I have passed the test set and the target for training. This is not, because we are not predicting, we are just fitting. So for 28 I have done this. Okay, so for KNN, which file do I need? I have taken library and dplyr. Why is it giving me an error? Anyone can help me with the KNN? Okay, library class, yes. So library class I forgot to include. Okay, yes, thank you so much, Ishan. So I have run for this and I'm trying for 27 neighbors also, and let me call it as KNN model 27 and let me call it as KNN model 26. Okay, so I have this. Okay, so I have now 3 models with 26, 27 and 28 neighbors. Now I have a test set, I have trained the model, and if I have to compute the accuracy, so accuracy means that you have to see what this model has predicted, the predicted value and the original value. Now you are going to test it against the target variable in the test set. So I am just simply going to copy my code here. So for each model I am going to compute the accuracy, so which is saying that using the table compute the confusion matrix. The model 26 has been fitted with KNN using the training set, the test set and your target for known underscore status with 26 neighbors. So whatever the model has predicted, now compare those values with the test variable, the test target variable, similarly for 27 and 28. So to compute the accuracy, again we will need to compute the confusion matrix. So if I say accuracy of 26 is equal to, so let me print the tables first. Table 26 looks something like this. So table 26 is saying that the actual value was, so I have reversed now, see, had it been KNN model 26, then the actual variable would have come here, and this is the predicted, this is the actual and this is the predicted. So actual values were 22 people were not granted loan and predicted was 22 was not granted loan, but actual says that there were 32 people who should not have been granted loan, but the model predicts them to be, that loan status should be Y, they should be granted loan. Similarly, it says that 14 people should have been granted loan, but my model predicted it to be 14, and 129 people should have been granted loan and the model predicted them correctly. So for table 27, that is KNN with 27 neighbors, this result is more or less the same. I think it is exactly the same. Okay, and for 28, the result varies slightly. So the result varies slightly, if you can see. So, but yeah, so probably this might have somewhat higher accuracy as compared to 27 and 28. So let me compute the accuracy for 28. So it should be sum of diagonal of table of KNN model with 28 neighbors divided by total number of entries in the table. And if I want to print the accuracy is 77. Okay, so my decision tree was giving me 79.6 accuracy and KNN is giving me 77.66 accuracy. I have tested two models right now. Okay, any doubts, anyone? No. So now my question is again, I have chosen, because there were lesser number of records, I have chosen the value to be square root. Now what happens if you have millions of record in the training set? Then what you will do? Will you be taking the square root of 1 million and then computing so many neighbors? Is it practically a good idea? Anyone? Ishan, Himani, any thoughts on this? Okay, the question is that we have chosen the square root of the records to compute, to determine the initial neighbors. So that was 28, so we choose 28, 27, 26. So, but what if you have millions of records? Then if you take the square root, is it logical to compute so many neighbors? Okay, so let me just do one thing. Let's say, let me change it to 5. Okay, we can do that. What should be my command? Table test KNN target and KNN model 5, and then let me print the accuracy just like that. Okay, sum diagonal table 5 and let me divide it by sum table 5. The accuracy is this same, almost similar. Okay, so there is one suggestion that you can do in this cases. So what generally data scientists do is they try to compute the accuracy of models with one neighbor, two neighbor, three neighbor, up to let's assume 30 neighbors or 50 neighbors, whatever. So let me run it for 50 neighbors. So generally what happens is that initially your accuracy is fluctuating, and then it's my system, yeah, okay. So let me assume that if this is my graph and insert a symbol. I'm not very good with word as per is there a paint application here? So generally what happens is, suppose if you run a for loop, and for let's say for I equals to 1 to 100, run knn. Let me choose this. Now let me plot a graph. Let me have a straight line here, and let me have a straight line here. Now I have this graph. Okay, now what happens is, initially this is a connector. Let me choose a line which is curvy, any curvy line here. Initially your graph starts something like this, and it might have some values like something like this, and then there can be some sharp fall, then it something like so what happens is, suppose I want to I will run knn for 50 neighbors, let's say from starting from 1 to 50, and then I compute the accuracy of each, and let me store this accuracy in the list. So what happens is, suppose this is my accuracy and this is the number of neighbors. So initially this will fluctuate, and then there will be a sudden fall in accuracy, and then my graph will begin to stabilize. So what happens is that if whenever the graph begins to stabilize, let's say if it starts to stabilize here, something like this. So now if you see that this graph is not fluctuating, there is no sudden fall, and slowly it is starting to stabilize. So here you might see that accuracy is very high, but there are sudden rises and falls, and the model is unstable. So when you plot a graph, and if you find out that okay, here it has started, the accuracy has started to stabilize, so we compromise somewhat on accuracy, but we are confident now that my results will be fine. Here suppose if you had chosen this value and suddenly the model for the next run the model did not give me the right answer. So I cannot trust the, even though the accuracy is very high, I cannot trust the values over here. But now when I am stabilizing, I can trust the values over here. So let's assume that at k equals to 27, in this case the value had started to stabilize, then you choose that value instead of choosing the value k equals to 5. Got it? Got it? Should I move ahead? So this is known as the elbow method to determine which case you should be choosing. So I am done with this. So this is a typical Viva question on how to choose the K. Then naive Bayes becomes very easy. For naive Bayes, I am just going to install my package naive Bayes. I don't know if it's already installed, I guess, in my system. Yeah. So this is already installed in my system. What am I doing wrong? Okay. And then I will include my library for naive Bayes, and then the same thing. I just like your decision tree, you will have a formula, you have your training set which I have already decided, then you have your you will have to predict it using the predict function and compute the matrix. So let me just run this thing again, because I think I have changed my records somewhere in between. So I have done my pre-processing and I have to divide it between this training and testing and this. After this I have NB fit equals to, so I am fitting it to a variable, so I am training my model using the train set, I am training naive Bayes. This is my formula which has to be trained and I am fitting in the NB fit variable. So I have NB fit which gives me some information of the probability of classes like this, and then I want to predict on the test set. So predict on the train model with the test set, the predict for this test set, and print this variable. So for these classes it has predicted whether this should for these rows it has predicted whether these should, the 1 to 50 means first is getting yes, second row is getting no, 50th is getting yes, 51st is not getting the loan, 52nd is getting the loan. Similarly this the last a lot of people are getting a role except for this. So this is how NB has predicted, and now let me compute the accuracy. So against the target variable and compare it with the predicted variable and print it. So the original data said that 38 people should not be granted loan, and this was predicted correctly. Original data said that 29 people should not be granted loan, but this was predicted incorrectly. Then the original data said that 20 should be granted loan, but these 20 were predicted to be not granted loan, and 158 for loan grant were predicted correctly. And I am going to compute the matrix. Oops, I have already done the matrix. I have to compute the accuracy and print it. So this has 80% of accuracy. So my decision tree and naive Bayes are giving me better accuracy. That was decision tree was 79.67 and naive Bayes is giving me better accuracy in this case. Now suppose if I want to predict, so now my model is trained, and let me assume that my model is trained and I have assumed that my naive Bayes is the best predictor. Now I have another file which is credit risk 1 that I have prepared. So here the known status is not known. So these are new customers. So you want to just try and predict using this model. So again try to bring it in the system, and then choose your features and predict them. So what I am trying to say is, so in the new file I had around 83 records, and I then fed it to my naive Bayes model, and it predicted this loan status. So I can be 80% confident that my 80% of the results are correct. So we have built a model, tested the models, computed the accuracies. I found naive Bayes to be correct. I used a new file, and after using a new file, after creating a new file, I just passed it to naive Bayes to predict my loan status for my new applicants. So for new applicants, it is telling me, okay, according to my model, these people should be granted known, and this some of them should not be granted known. So obviously I can never know which were not predicted correctly, because now this is completely new data. But based on the accuracy of my previous naive Bayes model, I think that 80% of my results are correct. Okay.
So this was it from my end. If you have any questions, you can write to me in comments. You can like this video, share it with your friends, subscribe to this channel to keep learning. Thank you.